Vidya.
Thank you, ma'am. So this will be about optic nerve function test and how to apply these tests and identify subtle subocular and optic nerve dysfunctions. The etiology of optic neuropathy cannot be made by the appearance of the optic disc alone. So these tests aid in identifying optic nerve pathologies or its absence. History and a good clinical examination is also an essential part of good clinical care. So these are the optic nerve function tests. Visual acuity is best tested with black on white background as it renders the highest contrast, but it does not reflect the visual field defects. Color vision, which is commonly tested with Ishihara's charts, in optic nerve disorders, the red and green is predominantly affected, while it is blue and yellow in macular disorders. Contrast sensitivity, which is a highest order test, it can be tested by Pally-Robinson chart. Pupillary evaluation is mainly identification of the presence or absence of RAPD. There are certain non-neurophthalmic conditions where RAPD can still be present, such as dense amblyopia, retinal detachment, retinal vascular occlusions. Visual field testing in neuro-ophthalmology is restricted to central 24 or 30 degrees as there is an overwhelming representation of the central visual field in the human striate cortex. VEP. Pattern reversal VEP is more sensitive, but it is less reliable when the patient has media opacities or poor fixation. In young children and patients are unable to fix, the visual assessment can be done with flash VEP. In presence of nystagmus and functional loss, pattern onset and offset VEP is helpful. ERG is helpful in those conditions or retinal disorders which masquerade as optic neuropathy, especially in pattern ERG. If the P50 component is abnormal and P95 is normal, it indicates a macular disorder rather than optic nerve dysfunction. So the other conditions where ERG is helpful for us is occult maculopathies, autoimmune retinopathies, and Azure. OCT, though it's more for a macular function, it does indirectly help us assess the optic nerve as it can quantify the axonal loss, it causes neuronal damage, and the pattern of the ganglion cell loss corresponds to the degree and pattern of visual field loss. So with this, I'll be moving on to a few case series. The first is a 22-year-old male who had an allergistic RTA 12 days back. He presented with defective vision in the right eye. Surprisingly, his visual acuity was normal, but he did have RAPD in the right eye. His color vision was normal too. His anterior segment and fundus examination was normal, so was his CT brain in orbit. So did this patient have a traumatic optic neuropathy? Yes, let's see his fields. He did have an altitude inferior defect indicating that he had a traumatic optic neuropathy right eye. The next is a 27-year-old male who came with a history of accidentally being aware of defective vision in the right eye 3 weeks back. His visual acuity right eye was 624, but pupillary evaluation was normal bilaterally, so was his color vision, anterior and posterior segment examination was normal too, and so was his fields. So what was the cause of subnormal vision in this patient? A simple test. The 4% base out test was positive, indicating microtropia. So when the optic nerve functions are normal, there is no optic neuropathy. The third case is of a 34-year-old female who the only complaint was shadowing of images since 20 days. Her visual acuity, pupillary evaluation was normal too. She had mild dyschromatopsia, and as we can see, the fundus was normal. On close evaluation of her fields, we can see that she has a central scotoma in the right and in the left eye and a supratemporal defect in the right eye, indicating a junction scotoma. There gives an indication that she had a SOL, which was proven by the MRI. She had a pituitary lesion. The fourth case, which even I was surprised and amazed, is a 29-year-old male who presented with loss of vision in the left eye following trauma a week ago. He had a history of assault with fist, ball pens, and multiple pins too. He was no PL in the left eye, thus he definitely had a RAPD. And you can see his external image, he had multiple needle prick scars. His fundus in the right eye was normal. In the left eye though, he had mild blurring or superior disc edema in the left eye. He had an inferior defect in the right, and corresponding to no PL, he had the waveform, the VEP was not there in the left eye. When we imaged him, he had a metallic foreign body in the right orbital region abutting the right globe. Thus, he underwent right orbital foreign body removal. When we reviewed him a month later, patient was happy and we were surprised. His visual acuity was 6.6. Definitely he did have RAPD. His color vision too has surprisingly improved. He did have a mild temporal pallor. Substantiating my surprise, he was able to perform a fields in the left eye which showed an inferior defect. And VEP also showed a waveform which was absent earlier. So probably this patient had optic nerve sheath hematoma which subsided over time, leading to his improvement in vision. The next is a 34-year-old female who presented with painless and progressive diminution of vision in the right eye since 12 days. She also had a history of flickers of light and fading of colors. She was evaluated elsewhere and found to have a temporal scotoma, and VEP, which was also done elsewhere, showed delayed latency. She was diagnosed to have optic neuritis and advised IV steroids. When we saw her, her visual acuity was normal. Again, there was no RAPD. Color vision was normal. Anterior and posterior segment was normal too, and HVF showed an enlarging blind spot. So what did she have? We suspected her to have acute idiopathic blind spot enlargement syndrome, which was confirmed by an abnormal MFERG, which showed reduced foveal, para and perifoveal responses. This is my last case. Is a 21-year-old female, an engineering student, who had history of sudden drop in vision in the right eye 11 days ago associated with headache. Her color vision was normal. She did have RAPD in the right eye. Color vision was normal too, and anterior segment was normal. Fundus showed bilateral optic nerve multiple druseness and though the subtle pallor in the right eye. To my surprise, she had visual field defects bilaterally. There were more nasal defects. Considering the patient's age and method of presentation, I suspected her to have optic neuritis. But her neuroimaging and workup for atypical optic neuritis was negative. So in this setting, a neuritis was unlikely. So what was the cause for defective vision in her? I went ahead, had a close look up at her EDI OCT, which showed multiple optic nerve head druseness. There was a mild thickening of the RNFL in the right eye too. And look at her GCC. There is thinning in the temporal quadrants corresponding to the nasal visual defects bilaterally. So to end, so this patient had compressive optic neuropathy secondary to optic nerve head druseness. Optic nerve functions aid in identification of presence or even absence of optic nerve dysfunction. History with clinical examination in most scenarios leads us to the most probable diagnosis. I will conclude with quoting Sherlock Holmes. It's always there, the truth. You just need to look for it. In our case, there is a diagnosis. We need to evaluate until we find out what the patient is having. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vidya. That was a wonderful